Here we go. All right, I'm Bob Patterson. I'm with Homes.com. So Homes.com is a real estate search portal, but we also do a lot of other things also. So like we provide websites for brokerage companies, for agents, but within our skill set, we also have what is called a CRM, which are virtual properties talks about. So we call it Homes Connect. It's just our term for it, but it's still a CRM. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to start from the VPR site to make your way to, an easy way to make your way to a login screen and get logged into your Homes Connect dashboard, okay? So we've got the VPR site up here. So if you go right here at the top, it says VPR CRM. All you have to do is just click it, and it's going to take you to this website, and just scroll down a little bit and just read the directions on how to get into it, okay? So check your email. About a month and a half ago is when we turned all the stuff on. We downloaded all of the agent rosters from the 3 different companies. You should have gotten an email from us. So go in your email, look for Homes.com, look in your spam mail. A lot of times when you got it, you didn't realize it's coming to you. You probably didn't look at it. You might have deleted it, and it might have gone to spam as well. If you cannot find it, don't worry. It's not a big deal. So look for that first, and then you don't see it. And if you really get to the point where you don't understand what's going on, you're really frustrated, call my customer support number, okay? They're open on Saturdays as well until it's like 9 to 6 on Saturdays, Eastern time, because they're in Tallahassee, okay? So I've had a couple of agents who've actually had to call the support and got taken care of right away. You just have to explain to them who you are. You work for virtual properties, and you're trying to get into your admin dashboard, Homes Connect, whatever. And they'll look you up, and they'll find out, and they'll see it. And they'll help you with getting your username and login as far as your password. So as we scroll down here a little bit further, this is the screen that you're going to see when we log the first login screen, okay? And if you'd like to see a video telling you what to do, you can also go to my video here also. You'll hear my illustrious Bob Patterson voice. So let's go back to the very top up here, and I'm going to click on this logo right here. And when I click on it, it's going to take me to the login screen to Homes Connect. This is how you get to your dashboard. So here's what you're going to see. If you can't find in your email the username and password, you can utilize the forgot your password. I'm sure you've probably done that somewhere else. Everybody's got a forgot your password functionality. So when you click on that,
I don't want to interrupt you, I was waiting.
When you click on that,
since I'm with Homes.com on some things, but I would use a different one here.
now, well, when you log in, you probably already have it saved on your computer. Yeah. It probably just automatically, it just logs you in. You probably don't see it. It looks a little bit different when you log in.
Whole personal stuff.
Not a big deal, but if you go to the screen, you can still log into your dashboard. Okay. So hit forgot your password, put your email address in there, and hit submit, and it will email you your credentials to you. That's one of the other ways of getting it also. So when you hit submit, the email that you're going to typically use is the email that's in your MLS system. Whatever your main email it is that you use in GMLS or FMLS, that's the email address that we created your account with. So use that email address. And don't be impatient. Sometimes it'll get to you really quick. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for the email to come to you with your credentials. It just depends on how busy the server is that's going to send this information back to you. So I'm going to log into an account. A little mousy poo here is, come on now. Jamie said it's a little squirrely. What was that ever? Where did it go? There it is. Cindy, share. Now I'll put the password in. Now the passwords that you get from us, they're gonna look way weird. So I'm gonna show you how to change your passwords when we get here also, because it's computer generated and it's just kind of an odd looking thing. All right, let me try this one more time. Cindy Shaft. Oh, I see what I did. It would help if you put the correct username in. You know what I mean? There. Thank you very much. So this is the screen that you're going to see when you log into Homes Connect for the very first time. So it's going to ask you on the left-hand side to complete your profile. We're going to go through that in just a second. And on the right-hand side, it talks about connecting your social networks, and we'll go through that. So I'm going to show you immediately. We're going to jump in here and go to complete your profile. So when we get to here, the agent profile, at the very top of the page, you're going to notice there's little tabs up here. See how it says password, designations, coverage area, office info? So as you go through here and fill out these different items and fields, you're going to move across the tabs and complete the rest of it to do your profile. So the very first one they're going to ask you is to upload your photo. Real simple, real straightforward. Go find an image and go search for your photo if you've got it on your desktop, if you got it in your pictures within your computer, wherever you have an image of yourself. It doesn't have to necessarily be an image of yourself. It could be an image of your cat, your horse, your dog, if you do that kind of stuff, whatever. So you would upload that, and over on the left-hand side, you're going to notice that it says headline and about me. And you'll notice that there's a little check mark, a little square box that says check, and it says list me in the Homes Agent Directory, homes.com. So what we're doing here is we're putting you in homes.com, and people can search for you on homes.com under the profile when you search for agents. So that's what this is about, okay? So once you do that, you can move over here to where it says contacts. Click on contact info. So this page is going to be really the biggest, the main page that you want to pay the most attention to. So you'll notice here it says first name, last name. That should be in there. Where it says state license number, you do not have to have your state license number. You do not have to display in the state of Georgia. Some other states require it. We don't. It just so happens in here, it's on there. Leave it or take it off. It makes no difference. The next field down below there, it says IDX code. So let me tell you what the IDX code is.
Listing services.
So that's right. So FMLS or GMLS. That's a listing service. That's IDX, okay? Internet Data Exchange. So in that field, if there's anything in there currently, clear the field totally, unless in that field, if it shows your FMLS username, change it. Because that field, you want to have your FMLS username. Everybody know what I'm talking about there? When you log in FMLS, you have the username and password. The username is what goes in that field. The reason why we want you to put your FMLS username in there is that the listings that are associated with you in the FMLS will also associate with you in your Homes Connect dashboard. Okay? So they'll show up over here.
You're aware of a couple of the companies here.
I know, don't go down that road. I want to muddy the waters here.
In case anybody said it.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. So just right now we're going to use this for that purpose because everybody's in FMLS, okay, across all three companies. So below there, it says office telephone number. Ditch the office phone number and put your cell number in there. And the reason for that is, do you want consumers calling the office or calling you? That's right. So then change the number, home telephone, you get rid of that. It doesn't really display. It really does display, but most people don't put their home phone number in there. And then mobile telephone number, have it there as well. Even though on homes.com it's going to display your office number and mobile phone twice, it really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure they call that cell number. That's where you want them to call you.
Do you think that requirement, that your compliance? That you
No, not the phone number. Don't worry about that. Okay. So scroll down a bit more, and you'll see where it says online. So it has an email address. Then it says alternate email address. Then it says website URL. So you should have an email address already in there that's probably your primary email. If you want to, excuse me, if you want to change that, by all means change it. It won't affect anything. Because let's say you have another email address that you're using for leads or whatever, you can change it to that. Okay, so it says alternate email address. So if you happen to be working on a team or you have an assistant, or if it's a husband and wife deal, I've had a lot of people talk about that. So there's a lady in here earlier, she was talking about her husband is the first one and she's on the alternate email address. So when a lead comes into the CRM, the lead is going to go to him and her. Or if you have an assistant, it's going to go to you and your assistant. So it's just another way to have a lead email to two different people. That's all it is. And then it has website URL next to it. So if you happen to utilize your VPR agent website, and you say you bought a domain name, bobsellsduluth.com, you would put www.bobsellsduluth.com. And on your profile on homes.com, there'll be a little button there that says view my website. And when they click it, it will link to your website. So if you bought an agent website from homes.com, you can put whatever domain name you have. You can have it going wherever you want it to go. It's just a product of where it's pointed at or where it resolves to, okay? If you have any questions, stop me. I'm here to help you, okay?
I can't seem to get to this page.
So where are you at? You should have signed on it. Sorry.
Well, is that?
Go back over here to the actual quick.
Okay.
All right. So go back up here where it says, right there it says my profile. So now see that's where you can upload your photo and all that stuff. You just go to contact information. So you're there now. All right. So the next thing we see on here is called text messaging settings. So the reason for that is when a lead comes into the dashboard, you can get an email with the lead components, and you can also get a text that you have a lead, if you want to get texted also. So it's really simple. Check the thing that says opt in to get text messages. And then to the left of that, whatever your cell phone number is, just put it in that field. And below there, here it is. Yeah, gotta clear the field. We'll get to it. So it has all of the cell phone carriers in America here to pick from, okay? So you just got to go scroll down the list and find your carrier and pick what your provider is, and you're done, okay? So I got to tell you, let me show you the AT&T thing. This is where it gets a little weird. Because AT&T has got, well, this keyboard is really weird. This is a very annoying keyboard. See all the AT&Ts there? Anybody here got AT&T? Okay. So if to get to, huh?
Yeah, just, wow.
Well, because the reason for that is, you see where it says mobile.mysingular.com? So, I mean, you should remember this. You remember Bell South Mobility? So I went Bell South Mobility, then I went Singular, and then I went AT&T. So if you were a Singular customer,
Just big, strong out.
you're probably still, that's still hanging around on your account if you still got it from those days. So that's how you can get a text message because it's my Singular. It's still sitting there. But right below there, let me get it back over here.
In your opinion, if I'm getting emails, which pop up on my phone,
Yeah.
I don't need the redundant.
No, but the thing about text messaging is,
I can respond quicker.
no, it's that text messages will tend to get to you faster than email.
Okay.
And a lot of times you can get a text message where you can't get an email in the area you're at. It's just kind of weird how there's on my phone, like up in Northeast Georgia, there's a city called Toccoa, and there's a lake up there called Lake Yona. So I'm on Verizon. I cannot call out on my Verizon phone. I can't get emails. I can text. It's bizarre, but that's the way it is up there in the mountains. So there's some areas where you can text, and text is a lot faster than emails because the service has got to wait. I mean, it might be a minute or two before you get that email. When a lead comes in, you're going to get a text immediately. It'll have the information. So it's just a lot faster is what it is. So just pick whichever carrier you're with, and off you go. So down below here, you see how it says agent accepting leads. You want to make sure that's check mark, which means that you want to get leads. So if you have it, and I'm going to show you how to get leads into your dashboard. But if you uncheck that and leads are coming to your dashboard, that means that leads wouldn't be sent out to you. You wouldn't get any emails or text or anything. So in this case, I said, yes, I want to accept leads. Over to the left-hand side, it says forward leads to. And that is a function of, let's say you go on vacation for a couple of weeks and you're going to send your leads to somebody's going to handle your business for you. So you just go under here, and it's going to have all the folks that are within. So here's the thing. If you're a .com person, all the .com people are going to show up underneath here. If it's a .biz, it's going to be all the .biz people. .net, it's going to be all the .net people. If you're going to try to send a lead to someone who's outside of your company, it can't be done. It's got to be someone within your company because that'll show up that way. So if you pick, like here's Ada Abbott. Let's say you pick Ada Abbott to get your leads while you're on vacation for 2 weeks. You'll still see in your dashboard the leads that came in while you're on vacation, but Ada's going to get them also. At the end of 2 weeks, when you log back in here, make sure to get Ada off of there because it doesn't automatically just fall off. You have to manually take them off because you don't want them to continue to get leads. So, let's scroll back up here. So we're going to go to the next little tab up here. It says social networks. So, anybody here have a Facebook business page? Okay. So, when you go to your Facebook business page, look up at the very top. So, you see at the top here in my browser, it says 1512199.homesconnect, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you are on your Facebook business page, that URL string up there at the top, that is your Facebook business page URL. Okay? Copy it and paste it in that field next to the Facebook. Because what happens is when you add that in there, when people run across you in the homes.com environment, they see your profile, your Facebook icon pops up. When they click it, it will take them to your Facebook business page. So if you buy any other products from homes.com, like an agent website, your Facebook icon will show up on your agent website as well. So the way this dashboard works, any products that you buy from homes.com, everything resides in this dashboard, okay? No matter what it is, you'll have access to through there. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, they all have URL addresses. So when you go to the home page, like on LinkedIn, go to your home page on LinkedIn, just copy it at the top, paste it in here, hit save, and that will show up. Any questions about that? Okay. So, don't worry about the office information. The next thing you want to worry about is coverage area. So, here's the thing about coverage areas. Once you do all this, you don't have to go back in here and fool around with it anymore. Coverage areas are so when someone runs into you that finds you on homes.com and they're searching for agents and they see this individual agent works in Duluth, and then you can add other cities in here, Swanee, Johns Creek, Lawrenceville. You have 5 fields you can fill out. And it's all a product of they see your name, they're going to see what areas that you sell or market in. The next tab at the top is designations. So, interestingly enough, I used to say that don't put designations after your name because consumers don't know what designations are. But I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 15 years, so I've always said, this is crazy, don't do it, don't have all these designations. But I'm going to tell you, I learned something a few months ago down in Florida. I found an agent, when I told them about this, they said, whenever I refer people, like he says, I referred a person who's moving from Florida to California. I don't know anybody in California, but what I did was I went and looked on the websites and I found agents like on homes.com, and I looked for agents who had their CRS designation. I picked that agent to do the referral. And because they saw that agent had that designation, that's why they picked them. And so, I mean, I learned something there. So, yeah, so the consumers don't know what all of that is.
With the designations, you got to pay those $130.
No, I know that. So this particular agent was a CRS person. So they're like looking for another CRS person. So they knew that if they've gone through the whole process of being a CRS, they want to give a referral, they want to give the business to another person who has gone through it as a CRS. So my point there is, don't necessarily, not put designations in there, even though consumers don't know what they are. And then next to that, password. So I guarantee you that you're going to want to change your password. So you just put your old password in, go in here, put your new one and your repeat password and hit save, and your new password will be saved. Well, let me tell you back up and tell you what you need to do when you do this. You need to go in to your cache, because, let me back up for a second. When you log in the very first time to get in our Homes Connect dashboard, your computer remembered the username and password that you utilized. And that password is that crazy looking password you were given. So if you've come in here and changed your password, you go back to your computer and go to that login screen, it's going to try to access your account through that old password. So you need to go in here and clear your cache, get rid of that, so that when you come to this again to your login screen, use your new password, and then your computer will remember it unless you clear your cache another time. Okay? So when you go back to that login page, it'll automatically just hit login and bam, you're into it. Okay? All right. So we've been through every tab that's on here, and you can hit save and all your changes will be there. So the next thing you want to do is you want to come up here to the very top. And right here where it says Homes Connect at the upper left, click on Homes Connect. when you get done with filling out all the stuff in here, from then on, when you log into your dashboard, this is the screen that you're gonna see. So I'm in Cindy Schaff's, she's a virtual properties agent. So she has not uploaded her photo yet. So her photo is the only thing that's missing here. And then you're seeing a lead, okay? So I went in and actually manually added me as a lead into her dashboard. But this is where you're gonna see, it's kind of like a quick snapshot of what's going on. And you scroll back over here where it says apps. So when you click on apps, this is all of what you're provided as a virtual properties agent. At the top left, it says leads and contacts. The one to the right of that, it says email marketing. We have an email drip campaign that's provided for you. To the right of that, it says listings. So I made a comment ago about your FMLS user ID. So if you were to click on listings, it's going to show the listings that are associated with you, okay? Left, it says social networking. We're going to go through it. And then there's the My Homes count. It says My Profile. We were just there. The rest of the information that you see below there, it's going to show up on your screen. It says Design Center, website, See Amazing, Neighborhood Envoy. Those are other products that we sell. So if you were to buy an agent website from us, it would move the website from there up into your main display, and that's how you would access your website. But we're going to jump over here, go to leads and contacts. So this is where your CRM really resides, okay? It's under Contact Manager. So I'm going to go over here to Contact Manager. So when you come in here for the very first time, what you're not going to see a lead sitting here. You can call this a lead or a contact, it's either or. You're going to see a blank box that's going to say add a contact. There'll be a little orange button there. Because you can manually add contacts to your heart's content. If you meet somebody, so the cool thing about it is, you happen to have, on my phone, so I have a Galaxy phone, Samsung. I could log into here, like I'm at a party or I meet somebody, I could actually log in here and actually manually add a contact if I wanted to on the spot. Wait till the next day and add that contact of somebody I met the night before, or whatever it is, because I want to get them into my contact database, because it's a CRM. So in this case, I added Bob Patterson. There's the email address for Bob. I entered this on the 17th. It'll show you when you entered this. Over on the right-hand side, you see the little cog wheel. It's like a settings wheel. You'll see that other places. So you can either click on Bob and go, and I'll show you that in a minute, but if you come over here to the right-hand side, click the little cog wheel, and you can edit the contact, or do you see how it says enroll in a campaign? So from this page, we give you a quick way of, let's enroll Bob into a campaign. So Kathy called me up, chatted me up, talked to me. This is I'm being facetious if she were to do that. And she found out that I'm a first-time home buyer. And Kathy says, hey, would you like to start getting information about being a first-time home buyer? I said, sure. So Kathy could come in here and she turned on, see the little buttons up there that says yes? They slide back and forth, turn it off or on. So she turned it on, and so immediately today, she did that today, I would get my first email from Kathy talking about being a first-time home buyer. So there's a bunch of different campaigns in here. And I'm going to show you all the campaigns in just a second. So there's like buyer follow-up, investor, empty nester, expired listings, FSBO, homeowner tips, move-up buyer. There's a bunch of stuff in here. We've written all the content that's in these campaigns. So, and I get to the campaigns, I'll show you how one looks, and I'll tell you more about that. But, so I'm going to go back over here to the cogwheel. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to edit. And if you want to get rid of the lead, you can remove them also, which is a good function. And again, weirdo, whatever. So I'm going to hit edit. So I'm an active lead you see up here. There's Bob over there, my phone number. And then it's got this thing called activity timeline. So the reason it says 0 results is because I manually added this. If the lead came in from a different source, it would actually show you. It would say whatever. So like, for instance, if you were to buy an agent website and the lead came from your agent website, it's going to say agent website, and it's going to show you the listing they were looking at or whatever, or if it's a contact form, etc. Same thing if you were to buy prefer listings on homes.com. Ken has prefer listings on homes.com. If somebody fills out that lead form on his listing on homes.com, it would show up here, tell you what happened, what property they're looking at as well. So down below here is manage contact information. So this is just the information about the contact itself. I'm going to scroll down further here. I'm not going to dig deep in every one of these. Buyer profile. You can profile what they are as far as like in a buyer, what it is they want to buy, things like that. Campaigns. This is a different place you could stick Bob into. It's the campaigns again. So a couple different places you can go start doing things without having to go way back out and go find campaigns. As I scroll further back down here. So then there's nodes. So this field in here is a dynamic field. You can, as you type in here, and you put a lot of content in here, the page will get longer and longer and longer. You're not just limited to that square. You put as much data in there as you want, so you just keep on going after that.
That's notes about a client.
Yes, or whatever it is you want to talk about, yeah.
So all the contents, will we be able to see what you are going to email it to the clients, or how do you know what is being sent to the clients, demand for any of these options?
As far as the campaigns,
Yeah.
I'll show you the campaigns in a minute so you'll know exactly essentially what it is. They get sent to them, so you'll know what the verbiage is. You can change the content also if you want. Okay? We'll get a little bit more depth in that in just a second. Let me scroll back up here. All right, over on the left-hand
Does it tell
side.
you the frequency also?
Yes, yep. When I get into campaigns, I'll show you all the ins and outs about that. So on the left-hand side, you see where it says task. We also have a task manager. So you can create tasks here. What you need to do, who you need to follow up with. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about something else that's unique about how the system works. There's a thing called lead gator setup. It's where leads from other sources can be sent to your CRM. So if you buy products from Zillow, for instance, your Zillow leads can come into here. If you buy leads from Realtor.com, your leads can come into here as well. If you're buying leads from, what's it, Homestar over here, and they're emailing you leads, you can have those leads sent to your CRM, your Homes Connect dashboard. From Atlanta Journal-Constitution, any source that you're getting leads from, and they're emailing those leads to you, you can have them sent here. So the whole reason for that is so that you don't have to write down all information from Realtor.com lead and go over here and manually enter it into here. It automatically shows up here. And typically what you get from lead sources, first name, last name, email address, phone number, and the property they're looking at. So all of that data will flow through to here, and it will reside under your task. So your leads will show up there. Now, let's go back up here again. Kind of hard to track this little mouse. So I'm at the top. So I'm going to go back over here where it says Leads Overview. So I'm going to come back down here. Whoop. I'm going to go back to Manage Leads. And I'm going to go down here, see where it says Setup. Click on Setup. Now, one of the other things that you need to be aware of also, See where it says ask us? Anybody ever heard of Zendesk? So if you click on this ask us, it brings up a field. So if you ever get hung up on something, how to use leads, how to use campaign manager, start asking the questions here. And it's just like going on Google. And you want to know, like, how many people live in Duluth, Georgia? And Google will find it. Same thing here. They'll start giving you information that's on our support side and answer your question for you. There's videos, there's all kinds of content that does it for you. They'll give you that information. So you don't fret. You're not going to get too hung up on that. And the other thing is you can always call our support number. Like, hey, I don't get it. I need help. And they'll take you through it, show it to you. So, see how it says this interesting 151219979 . That is called a lead gator email address. So on Realtor.com, in your profile on Realtor.com, instead of that email coming out of Realtor.com and coming to your email address, you can substitute your email address in your Realtor.com account with this email. And what happens is when that lead comes out of Realtor.com, it's going to come into your dashboard in Homes Connect. You're going to get an email from Homes Connect and a text. So there's no reason for you to have your email address on Realtor.com and this address, because you're going to get it all sent to you anyhow through Homes Connect. You're going to understand what it is. And it's going to give you the information, first name, last name, phone number, email address, and what listing we're looking at. But when leads come out of Zillow or Realtor.com, you will know in here where those leads are coming from. If you get leads coming out of HomeStar, you won't know it's coming from HomeStar. But the lead will come in here with that information. So all you got to do is just take that unique email address. If you're going to utilize Zillow, follow these directions in order to get the Zillow leads to flow into your dashboard here in the Homes Connect. If you want to import leads, by all means import them. So there's different formats. So a lot of agents over the years have put their contacts in like Outlook. So you can export out of Outlook. The standard format is a CSV file. A lot of times someone will save it in an Excel CSV file and ship it over to you, like if you want to buy leads from HomeStar, for instance. And they give you the leads, like 500 leads in an Excel document, CSV. All you got to do is upload it. Pick standard format, and then upload the file. And let's say it's 500 leads, it will show up in your dashboard, 500 leads that you just imported.
One comment, where you have the setting something on like print mail or something like that. Is there an area where you can write out like a blog or a personal kind of thing you want to send out? Will it do like Outlook, all the ones you set up in there, can send it to all of those people? Just
Yeah, you can have it like, say for instance, I commented about 500 people from HomeStar. Let's say for instance, you want to create a campaign and send all of them an email. So you can create a drip email, whatever it's about, take a pick. You've uploaded them, you understand, you buyer profile them, they're HomeStar leads, and you want to send all 500 of them of a specific campaign, you can do that.
just get all their emails, kind of like, Outlook, you could have all the emails and then get it where you didn't have to come back and enter each person and send that, do it many times. It'll just pick them all up and send out something you want to send out to everybody.
So what happens is, when the lead has come in, or you've uploaded the leads, typically, like I said, you're going to get the first name, last name, email address, phone number, and like a lot of cases, it's going to be the listing they looked at. But like for HomeStar, it's not going to say the listing they looked at. It's just going to have that generic information. Well, they're going to show up on here as a contact. Well, you can segregate that data. So there's 500 people from HomeStar leads. And I want to send all 500 of them, this particular campaign. You can do that. So it picks up all those email addresses. And it's going to say, Dear Ken, I'll say, Dear Bob. It's going to have the salutation is going to be specific to each one of those. And it's going to be branded. It's going to have your photo, your name, your address of your website, all that. I'll show you that in a second as well. So you can import them. So here's the interesting. So when you import the leads, see this field right here? You can create your own field. So let's say you want to call it Homestar leads. So when you import those 500, hey, I want to go look for those Homestar leads we got. So you can call it that. You can take these leads from your dashboard and export them also. So you can import, export, however you want to do it. I've been asked this every time I do this class. What if I leave virtual properties? I get asked that all the time. So if you were to leave virtual properties and go to another firm in Atlanta, well, put it this way. If you left here and you went to Miami, Florida to move, and you went with another real estate firm down there, you could take your account, call our customer service, and move it to there. You won't have all the functionality you have here unless that company has bought products from us, but you can move your account over, and all your contacts and all that stuff. The contacts will be there, but your email drip won't be there unless they've purchased stuff like virtual properties has. But stuff won't go away. But in anything that's in your dashboard, as far as contacts, Homes.com, we do nothing with it. It's all proprietary. All right. Scroll back up here again. So that's the piece where you're aggregating all the leads into your dashboard. So there's two things that Steve and Karen bought this product for. One is that you've got this capability of sending all the leads into one dashboard and getting email back and got the drip email. There's all this functionality, or if you buy products from it. The second reason why they bought the product from us is that we have a team environment also. So if you ever become attached to a team within virtual properties, we actually can set up a team account so that you have like a team member, the head of the team, and then all those other agents underneath that team. So there's a specific control panel on Connect for the team. So the team member themselves have the ability to add and delete team members. And then we have routing rules. So let's say I'm the team captain and all of you are agents in my office or with my team. I've got the ability, the leads comes in, I'm the administrator. And let's just say it's a generic lead coming in. I've got just whatever lead's coming in. I can have the lead go to Ken. If Ken doesn't accept the lead, it'll take it away from it. It's going to send it to you. You don't accept it, it's going to take it away and give it to you. You don't accept it, it's going to go to you. We're able to go back around 3 times. Nobody accepts it, it's going to kick it back to me. And I call everybody like, you don't want to leave? What's the deal? You're not going to be on my team anymore. But it's a product of we can do the team thing. It doesn't matter how many people are on the team. We have all these lead routing, this leads, routing of the leads functionality. So on the left-hand side, it says prospects right here. You see it right there, it says prospects. So in a minute, I'm going to talk to you about what's called social media connections. So remember the piece with prospects. So let's scroll back up to the top here. I'm going to go here where this little gizmo is right here. So see where it says email marketing right here? And I'm going to go to what's called campaigns. And you can email directly out of here if you want, just a one-off email. And if you did a one-off email out of here, there's a BCC function in there so that the email gets sent to your email so you know that you actually sent it. So here's first-time home buyer. So see how it says one under number of contacts? So that's telling me that I've turned a person on to send them that particular campaign. So it could be like if I had 50 people in have 50 people getting this email, you would see that up there. And then you're gonna see where it says number of emails. So here's one, we send out 40 emails to a consumer. So it shows you how many times the different emails are gonna be sent out. Come over here and select an action. So you can view it, or you can edit it if you like. So if you want to edit the content. So let's go look at how one looks. So here's taking the plunge. So if I was in Bob Patterson's record and I turned it on, it would say, Dear Bob Patterson, buying a home for the first time is a dream many share. And that's exciting, blah, blah, blah. So you see all this information about Cindy Shad? If her photo was uploaded, her photo would show up there. So this email, the way you see it, it's presented to you on the screen. There's all this white space over here because this is embedded in the email. It's not an attachment. So when they get that email from you, this is how they would see it, okay? But all the content that you're going to see in all of our emails, we have never been sued over our content. We've been doing this for years. Because you've got to remember to abide by correct advertising guidelines and equal housing opportunity and all that. So when you start changing content or creating content on your own, you want to make sure that you're not going to get, somebody's not going to come after you with regard to that, okay?
One question.
Sure.
If you've got, say you like to keep in touch with previous clients.
Yeah.
Either sold a home to or have a listing for. So many of these things you send out, they're all specific about, hey, you want to buy a home, hey, you want to sell a home, you want to do.
Yeah, so let me just tell you a story.
You got any campaigns on here?
Yeah, so here's what
send
I
out helpful hints, kind of a thing, you know what I mean, just something that would be of interest to them to keep their name in front of them.
So here's my example, exactly what you're talking about. So there's an agent who's got a big team around him. Can't tell you who the agent is. So he created a new campaign. What happened was, this guy sold 325 houses last year. A lot of houses. He's got like 9 people on his team. So he's been around selling real estate in Atlanta for 35 years. So he's been around a long time. But one of the things he told me that he's done a really crummy job of is continue to send emails out to his old clients and keeping in contact with them. So what he did was, he had this database. He wasn't sure how good it was, but he imported the database into here, and he created a campaign, and he sent out an email to everybody on this campaign, 4,400 people. Hey, it's Bob Patterson. Just want to reconnect with you. I haven't talked to you in a long time. But I'd like to offer you something. If you'll go on my Facebook business page, just click here and like my page, I will give you a free apple pie if you come to my office. Pretty short and sweet. Sound corny? He had 150 people like his Facebook page. He had 150 people show up at his office. He bought apple pies from Costco. They're like really big. They're like $8. 2 listings and 1 unsold. So now what he does, he has Pie Day twice a year, 4th of July, and Thanksgiving. He sends it out to all of his clients, and it's just like, hey, it's Pie Day. Hope y'all are doing well. Like, give me a holler, come on down. Gets them back. They come to his office. He doesn't go see them. That's the big thing. They come visit. So if they're not going to buy or sell real estate, what do you ask them? If someone you're talking to like that doesn't want to buy or sell real estate with you, what's the next question you ask? Do you know anybody else that wants to buy or sell real estate? You got a lot of body in your office. How can you help me? You got to ask. It's like asking for the sale. I'm not kidding you. Having somebody come in your office like that is worth $1 million. It really is. And then just start marketing to them. So I've got this thing I call it the Howdy Doody campaign. All right? Howdy Doody, how you doing? So I tell every agent, if you do it or don't do it, I'm just telling us what you ought to do. Create a campaign in here that's going to send out an email to everybody in your contact database once every 3 months. And it could be about anything. So like they have the Duluth Fall Festival. So let's say you create a little blurb about, hey, the Duluth Fall Festival is going to be September the 18th this year. Here's a link to the Duluth. And all it is just it's just information about Duluth Fall Festival. So you might have people that live in, I don't know, let's say you got people that live in Rome, Georgia. Well, they're probably not going to come over here. You know, or if somebody's in Miami, if you know somebody from Miami that gets there, whatever, past client, doesn't really matter. The information gets sent to them about what's going on. So let's say you have another email you sent to them that's 3 months later, just talking about, you remember when TRID had to do TRID, closing form came out?
Yeah.
So I told every agent I knew, I said, man, you need to send an email to everybody you know that they're getting ready to implement TRID, the HUD one's going away, they need to hurry to buy a house. Things are changing. I told you need to tell everybody about this to give them a sense of urgency. Like if you're thinking about selling your house, now's time to do it. Things are changing. So you send this all out, but you talk about the TRID deal, well worth it. So if there's something that's of value to them that they need to know about the housing market, you know, like if they got rid of the, if this ever happened, we'd all be dead in real estate. If they got rid of the, where you can't deduct your interest on your house from your mortgage,
Yeah.
and if they ever got rid of that, I don't know, you know, all hell's gonna break loose if that were to happen. NAR's not gonna let it happen. But that's something you can talk about, like what the latest news is about that. But the point I'm making is that you're trying to keep in contact with everybody you know. So the other part to that story is my brother's a closing attorney over in Roswell. He's been doing closings forever. So he was in a closing a couple months ago, and agent, buyer, agent, sellers, okay? Typical closing, that's usually kind of what you say. Well, it just so happens it was an older lady, and there's a real estate agent. And the story unfolds, my brother told me about it. This agent had sold this woman a house 20 years ago. The lady kept the agent's card. I thought that was impossible to have. I don't have cards from yesterday almost sometimes. So she called, so husband dies, kids grow up, move out of the house, she needs to downsize, buy a different house. She gets the card out, calls the office, and they say, oh, she's gone, she's retired. You know, they're not gonna tell her that she's still around. So she gets on the internet, starts poking around and finds the agent, calls her up and says, hey, how you doing? I bought a house from you 20 years ago. I'm sure as an agent you're going, who's this lady? But hey, so what happened is she listed the lady's house and sold it, and she was selling her another house. So there they are on the closing table. So 2 points to this. Number one is social media and Facebook. Okay, everybody you know you need to be friends with on Facebook. As odd as it sounds, then the main reason is that people can look you up. Years go by, they go, oh, she's on Facebook, they'll look you up. I mean, it's like, that's just one way of doing it. And consistently sending emails to them.
That's a business page.
No, No, I'm talking about you want to personally know them. Because let's say you change your Facebook business page or whatever, your personal page is always going to stay there. And there's nothing wrong with somebody you sold a house to, is to do that. It's like, hey, I just want to be friends with you. We're like, we did business together. They'll post their grandkids, want a swimming meet or whatever, just see it. But it's like, you might not necessarily chat with them or see posts all the time, but you can go find them. So it's just being connected on Facebook. And it's like a directory almost now. There's 2 billion users on Facebook. That's the main thing I say.
Of course, I think that if you write something that's political or something like that.
No, we're not talking about that now.
No, but I'm just saying, if you're on Facebook that way, just send that as messengers only to certain people and don't.
No, all I'm saying is that if I sell you a house today, I sell it to you, and I go, hey, let's be friends on Facebook. Fine. 20 years goes by, and you're thinking about buying another house, and you haven't talked to me in 20 years, but you sure like me, you want to use me again? How are you going to find me?
No, I understand completely. I'm
Okay.
just saying, You know, Facebook, you have personal friends, you have other friends, you have different things.
I know
I
that.
think everybody will see something they don't like somebody.
Oh, you know, that's whatever.
But I just wonder if that hurts your business, or will you keep just.
Well, so I gotta tell you, when people start using ugly words, stuff like that,
No.
it's like I cut them off,
No.
you know. But for the most part, if you're a typical person's moral and whatever,
Yeah.
that, you know, you want to talk about your kids, whatever. I mean, that's one of the ways of being there for the sole purpose of people being able to find you. It's like LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn, get hooked up with LinkedIn, but Facebook's more, it's the social piece. LinkedIn's more business, but it's kind of leaning towards the social piece now. They're changing. But yeah, I'm not going to get deep into that. So anyhow, that's my food for thought. All right. So these are the campaigns. So here is, go over here to action. So if you want to edit, so give it a second, it's going to pop up here. So here is that first-time home buyer deal I was just telling you about. So select an action. I want to edit the content. So here is, and all it is, it's just like a word editor, like a WYSIWYG editor. So there's the content. So you can change the content. So you can also, if you want, you don't like this particular campaign, how it's getting sent out, you can modify. See how it says days after start date? You can modify each one. So like this is a 13-week campaign here. Let's say you want to draw it out to be 36 weeks. You can go in here and modify each one of them for this, so they go out like every other week or something. You can modify each one of them. And then from then on, the first time home buyer campaign, it's going to go out to all these different people over 36 week pay. Over 36 weeks instead of 13 weeks, okay? So, bottom line, all the stuff that I'm showing you, I mean, I can be up here for 3 hours and show you a lot more. There's a lot here that you have that's provided for you through virtual properties now.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you add video to your
Yes.
campaign or
Yeah.
add image?
Yeah, me do anything. Let it rip. It's really flexible. All right, let me go back up to apps up here. So I'm going to go down here, right here. See where it says connections? Right there, social networking. So I'm going to click on connections, and it's going to pop up this screen that's going to talk about connecting with Facebook, Google+, and with Twitter. So what you're doing here is when you click on this, let's say you want to connect with Facebook. What you're going to do is you're going to put your Facebook credentials in here and then hit login. And what Homes.com is going to do is going to take all of your friends out of Facebook, and it does nothing to your account, doesn't touch your account. It takes that data and brings them into your Homes Connect dashboard as prospects. You remember a minute ago I told you about that prospect button on the leads and contacts? So they're prospects. They're not contacts or leads. Because now these are people that you have the potential to get a hold of and turn them into a contact. Okay. So anybody here use Facebook Messenger? Okay. So when you go to your prospects, it's going to show if you've used Twitter or Google Plus or Facebook. When you look at the prospect, there's going to be a little icon that says they're a Facebook prospect, Twitter prospect, or Google Plus. But you can right-click the picture and you can chat back and forth just like Messenger from here if you want to do that. You don't have to, but if you get to talking to somebody offline, but they're a Facebook person, you know, and they're interested in purchasing from you or want to do something with it, you can convert them to a contact in the database and then start marketing them through your Homes Connect dashboard. Okay? So see how I'm going all these different avenues of leads and importing leads and leads coming from other sources, from like Zillow, and I mean, just whatever. So it's coming into this one dashboard and you're able to market somebody from here. Okay? We call it log in one place, access everything, Homes.com. All right, that's kind of weird. Why did it do that? You know, that's actually a glitch right there. Why would it do that? That's very odd.
Take it back.
Yeah, it's not taking me back. Look at that. Huh. I didn't even tell them about that. That's kind of weird. If you logged in, you wouldn't have that issue. It's just going to take you back and it's going to take all those people and download it. Kathy Shaft 8. What am I doing wrong? Kathy Shaft 8. Kathy, oh, man. Hey, give me 1 second here. I'll be there. I'm almost there. My apologies. Kathy Shaft 8. I'm typing something wrong. That's why I can't get back in. I can't figure out what else I'm typing wrong. That's crazy. Kathy Shaft 8. These are the best times to be presenting when the technology is not working for you. Oh, come on.
This is the replacement here now. Okay, this is the replacement. Okay, I knew what I was supposed to be looking for.
All right, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. What? Kathy Shaft 8. Oh. It'd be great if I was using the correct name and username to log in. I've been typing the wrong name the whole time. I just love it. Let's call it user error. All right, that's exactly what that is. Let me go back up here to apps.
Yeah, you can't, that's called dual agency. You can't do dual agency. In other words, you can't replicate. But just think about it, how can you represent
All right, so we're back here again. My apologies. Can I have Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter? So when all those people get brought in to the dashboard, over on the left-hand side, you see where it says prospects? Because there's no prospects on here, so I'm not going to click the tab. All the people will show up in here under prospects, okay? They're not going to be under your leads, they're going to be under prospects. But whenever you convert them from a prospect to a contact, then they will start showing up under here. Because now you've actually created them and converted them to a contact, someone you can market to, okay? So, let me show you one other thing on here we'll be done. That's of interest. Don't forget, you can always go to Ask Us. The other thing that's kind of unique is go over here where it says questions and answers. So consumers go on homes.com and they ask questions. So they'll set up a My Homes account. And what happens is they go set up My Homes account. So if they go on homes.com, they're searching for listings. They can save their listings, get listing alerts. They'll alert them if it's a new one, if there's a price change. But within their account, they can ask a question. So they might go in there and go, hey, I have a house up in Swanee. I've owned it for 50 years. It's an old log cabin, but I'm thinking about putting a $100,000 swimming pool in the backyard. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. So, and at the bottom of it, it's going to ask, well, where are you? And they put Swanee, Georgia. So, you as an agent can come in here and type in location as Swanee, and where it says all available, that's where any question that gets asked from a consumer for Swanee, Georgia, you want to get an alert. So you can ask Swanee in there, hit alert. So when someone asks a question and they're from Swanee, you're going to get an email to your in your email. It's going to say, there's a question in your dashboard at Homes Connect. You can log in here and go answer that question. So you can put as many alerts in there as you want. You can put Lawrenceville, Swanee, Flowery Branch, Gainesville, Loganville, Snellville, I mean, whatever. If it's as long as it's a city. So when you answer the question from the consumer, they in turn get an email that their question has been answered, and they'll be able to read and see the information that's pertaining to you, who you are. So you have the ability to possibly get an inquiry. They want to talk to you more about how you answer the question. But don't put on there, call me at 555-1212, we'll talk about it. We're not going to do that. You need to professionally answer the question. The other thing, last but not least,
one thing, sometimes you'll see an answer from another agent.
yes, because other agents can put, like, let's say, for instance, all of y'all in here put Swanee in there, and you get the question. So each one of you can answer that question. So all four of you who've answered it, that consumer's going to get four different answers.
But just the point I was making, I've seen a couple of answers, and some of them had information, but they didn't have all the information that might be necessary. But I would, so that I didn't look like I was trying to stab another person, and I don't know whether that's correct or not. But
Yeah, you just kind of be.
But I just say, I agree with what Bob over here said.
Yeah, you can do that.
I might like to further add this, and this. And,
Absolutely.
and then that way,
Absolutely.
it more makes, I think it makes you look more professional because, you might, if you disagree with somebody, that's a little different. I probably want to try to contact that agent, say something, but you don't want to get in this fighting match right there, but most cases, they just don't give a complete answer. And I try to, if I add a lot more, I think it just makes you look more professional and
Sure.
be a better choice.
So here's the thing that you need to do because you have preferred listings. You need to go in here and send out invitations for endorsements. The more endorsements that you get, when they see you on homes.com, they see your name, and it'll say preferred agent over the right-hand side. There's like a thumbs up, and it'll show how many endorsements
And you
you
can
have.
send them out from here.
Yeah, just put their name and their email address.
I've been calling some people trying to get them to send me stuff to put in here, but do it.
They're right here, so it's quick and easy.
Yeah, good.
This really, I mean, you can do it, but it really helps Ken with the product he has with us at homes.com. All right, any other questions? Have I put y'all to sleep? There's a lot here to deal with. Do I now?
Just to play around with all this.
Yeah. So if you're interested in any other homes.com products, there's a lot of stuff that we provide. We have zip code leads. Ken's bought a couple. The latest thing that we now have, I think I told you about, I was going to tell you about it afterwards, is we have rental leads. I've got a lot of agents buy rental leads and convert them to buyers. So like over in Lawrenceville, 30044, I'm getting like an average of 200 leads a month. 4 or 5 of them get 213. It goes up and down monthly. 30046, I'm getting like 78. So I've got a lot of agents who are buying these rental leads, and I've had some agents go rent the house and make a few bucks on the side because it's like a quick and easy. It's a quick and easy cash.
The trio thing.
Yeah,
I was going to see them.
I was going to tell you about that.
Might be a possibility to go along with trio.
Oh, it absolutely works for that.
Yeah.
So y'all heard about Trio?
Yeah, we've been.
Y'all know what it is? Okay. So this is like the perfect opportunity for a Trio deal. So on homes.com, people are looking at single family homes. That's the leads you get. It's not apartments, it's single family homes. So it could be a condo, it could be a townhouse, or it could be a single family home. But it's someone looking for something to buy with regard to that. So the lead comes into it. So you're going to know it's Bob Patterson, phone number, email address, and it's going to show you a rental property they're looking at and how much the rent is. So like in 30044, average rent there is like $1,400 if I remember right. So this Trio deal he's talking about, lead comes in for 30044, and let's say Trio says that they'll buy houses in that zip code because they like this. There's other companies that do the same thing. I think they all kind of abide by the same guidelines. So if that's a zip code that the Trio will buy a house in, you take that rental lead, for instance, and they're looking at this one particular house to rent, and when you talk to them, and they can't buy a house right now, so you go, hey, let me tell you, there's other houses in this neighborhood that are for sale that you might be interested in moving into. And they're like, really? Because I don't know if you've ever run into this. I've seen where people who are renting will call off houses for sale to see if they'll rent it. But in this case, you get a rental lead, they're looking at this house, you go, look, I can show you this, but I can show you all these other houses that are for sale. And you go, what do you mean, how can you do that? So, well, I've got this program where this company will actually buy the house for you and rent it back to you. But you get the ability to buy the house later down the road.
Probably
1 year,
200 a month.
2. Well, the point of it is you've got another alternative here, and you get a commission check instead of a rental check. So they can buy the house first year, second year, third, fourth, or fifth, and they will see it. How much the house is going to cost them when they buy it each time.
Our rental contract's 12 pages long. It's a monster.
So is mine as a landlord. I mean, I use the correct rental contract when I rent my houses.
What do you use?
The correct, the leasing contract and from correct.
Mhm.
So anyhow, so rental lead comes in here, because the rental leads will show up in your dashboard here. They'll get emailed to you, they'll get texted to you, you talk to them, you modify it, you can start sending them emails. If they do rent, but they're thinking they'd like to buy a house down the road, you can start marketing them and keep in front of them. So that's where you could do that, like have a rental campaign. It's all the people you know that are renting that might be buying later on, so you can start sending them emails. What else? Oh, somebody got a question. I drove all the way over here from Loganville, come on.
Of course, I've got this with virtual properties.
You got the same thing.
Yeah, the dashboard and all is similar. I haven't seen some of this stuff though. I've got to look further, I guess. I've got to go through all those headings at the top, because I just started a couple of weeks ago.
I thought you had the zip code thing for a while.
I had ended something and I just stopped for a couple of months.
Then they turn everything off. And if you start it back up.
As far as I'm concerned, Realtor.com's okay, but I was getting a bunch of stuff that didn't amount to anything really.
Yeah.
A lot higher. And of course, Zillow, I wouldn't buy them for all the money in the world. Well, stuff they're doing. Plus, they sit there, they've got for sale by owners right next to you. And
Yeah, we don't, homes.com is not, we will never do this up.
I guess
Never.
That's it.
Well,
Oh, and I guess
stop the recording.
we don't really get a website with this. You have to pay for that.
Correct.
Now, I have a website, and I guess I can link it to my
Sure.
.com account.
Yeah, you got a website through somebody else?
I got it through this listing book thing where I'm doing, I pay them like $150 a month, and they put me on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And it's a continuing running kind of thing. All kinds of stuff. I haven't gotten anything from it yet, but sometimes it's like anything else, it's a time element. Because I talked to the guy, Homes.com said there's